Hey beautiful people, this is Aisha with Dating Better. I wanted to talk to you guys today about a simple word, but it encompasses so much, and that word is work. Just a simple 4-letter word. And I think that sometimes we forget the strength and even what goes into work, especially when it comes to relationships. Especially when it comes to us being in communication and relation with each other. There's a lot of people who have written quotes that have to do with work. Frank Lloyd Wright says, you have to go wholeheartedly into anything in order to achieve anything worth having. And probably one of the most famous quotes about work is what Andrew Carnegie said, and he says, anything in life worth having is worth working for. Some people say anything worth having is worth fighting for. So this concept of work has to do with putting in effort, putting in time, putting in principles like patience, like kindness, like respect. All of these things go into that small 4-letter word, but they all encompass and go right back to the same thing, where we have to put in something to get out something. It's simple. It's really basic physics almost. You can't make something from nothing, right? And so a lot of times relationships work that same type of way. If you want to get good out, you have to put good in. If you put garbage on a plate and you present it as a 4-course meal, that doesn't make it a 4-course meal. It's still garbage. Relationships work the same way. What you put into it is what you're going to get out of it a lot of times. Now don't get me wrong. You can put a lot of good into a relationship and still have a relationship that is poor because of maybe the things that are being brought into a relationship, maybe the people that are in the relationship, maybe the circumstances that even surround the relationship. But at the end of the day, I think we all can agree that if you want something, you have to put in the work for it. And so I'm asking, why are we not doing the work that is necessary? Whether that is work on yourself, whether that is work directly into the relationship. Relationships take work, and what I'm seeing is that a lot of us say that we want something, and a lot of us do this, and I know that I'm guilty of this too. We say that we want something, but are we putting in the necessary work to get what it is that we want? And once we have it, are we putting in the necessary work to maintain it? Because a lot of us will put in the work to get the relationship, but won't put in the work to maintain the relationship. And then that's when you start to have a breakdown. That's when people start to feel like they've been tricked. That's when people start to have remembrances of how the relationship used to be. And now they're feeling resentful because it's not as it was. Or it's morphed into something else. And they're like, I didn't even sign up for this to begin with. So now where do we go from here, kind of thing. So I think that we have to go back to understanding that things are going to take work. Sometimes it's going to take more than one try to get it right. And that's really what this is. It's really about being vested enough in the process to keep going, to put in the work, and to continue to try. So I'm asking you to just examine yourself, as we should, and think about, are we putting in the necessary work to get out of life, to get out of our relationships, what it is that we say that we want? Even this whole, atmosphere and this whole thing of constantly blocking and deleting folks. Sometimes having a misunderstanding with somebody is a good thing because it helps you to clarify. But if you don't give people the opportunity to even do that, then how are you able to have any type of interaction with that person? If we just cut people off at the first sign of I don't know if this clarity is not a word, forgive me. But when we cut people off at the first sign of trouble, or the first sign of a misunderstanding, or even the first sign of something that maybe we don't necessarily want to happen, but it's come up. If we don't try to work through these things sometimes, how do we ever get to the end? How do we get to our end goal of being in a fruitful and fulfilling relationship? Things are going to come up. And yes, you need to pick your battles. You need to understand, in essence, what it is that you want for yourself, what it is that you can tolerate in a relationship. Because a lot of times it boils down to what we are able to tolerate, or what we're willing to tolerate in a relationship. But if we don't give people a chance straight out of the gate, if somebody says one thing to us and it just totally turns us off, and our first instinct is to block and delete, as opposed to listen and clarify, or even ask a question and clear up miscommunication, or give somebody the opportunity to clear up miscommunication. Are we doing that enough for each other? Are we allowing space to have these conversations with one another? Are we allowing space to get to the point where we can even be vested enough in each other, where we can put in the work into each other? These are the things that we need to be thinking about. And honestly, from what I've been seeing, I see that a lot of us are not doing that. And if you are, then kudos and congratulations. But I know that for the most part, we're not doing it. And if we are doing it, if some of us are doing it, it's the consistency that needs to happen that's going to help to reinforce that being successful in a relationship. The consistent work effort, the consistent understanding, the consistent taking time out to clarify, consistency. And once again, that goes into, when we talk about worth ethic, a lot of that goes into consistency, being consistent in what you're doing. So let's just take a moment again to think about what work we are putting into ourselves, what work we're putting into each other, and what things we're saying that we want. If we really want a relationship, we have to put in the work for it. And that just is what it is. You can want anything in the world, but if you don't put in the time, if you don't put in the effort, if you don't put in the dedication, if you don't do your work, what will you have? Let's get on this conversation, guys. I want to hear what your thoughts are. Hit me in the comments.